Near the legendary Comedy Cellar is a legendary, and I might say notorious, 24-hour McDonald's. And by the way, if you are a 24-hour McDonald's in New York, you're notorious. It's a little redundant. This is going to be a new property for you. Yeah. This is very exciting. How did this happen?
So it's that famous McDonald's. It's an amazing property because everybody's aware of it, like around the world. You know, McDonald's oh, yeah, of course I know that McDonald's. And yeah, we're going to build it into like a comedy club. It'll be more theatrical looking in the sense that I plan a big mezzanine or balcony around 3 sides.
Ooh.
But it'll still only be about 200 seats. And, you know, I hope it's going to be great.
Are you going to keep any of the old, like, McDonald's nostalgia there?
No.
No.
See, again, I don't know. Nostalgia might not be the word for it.
People have suggested that, and it's not silly because it is almost a legendary McDonald's.
Yeah.
And maybe I would keep something, but I do have some of that stuff in my basement now. There is some
nice.
Oh, that's great.
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like that's going to make the scene at some point or another.
But more than that, I was thinking of, like, you know, we do like little videos that start the show. Maybe I'll get some of those World Star hip hop videos that show the craziness that existed at the place prior.
That's our bread and butter. Yeah. Half the time we lead with this stuff on that show. I've got a whole file for you.
So that will be my homage to the McDonald's. Will be the video.
When you're revamping particularly a property that was just so devoted to something completely, well, I guess not that much the opposite of what you have intended for its new, what it's going to be. What are some stuff that have been hurdles, surprises?
The regulations.
Oh God.
Like, I've been joking that if I wanted to get my kid's dick cut off, I could have done it 3 weeks ago without any questions at all. Right this way, Mr. Dworman, you know. But I'm not sure. It's okay. We'll take your word for it. But if you want to pull out some tables and chairs, hold on. Now, this is serious. So they really slow you down, and it takes months and months. And then, I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into this, but just there's building codes, and you can get 3 different experts who do this for a living and get 3 different opinions about what the codes even mean. It's like, well, we'll do this, and hopefully the inspector will. Don't we know what it's? No, we don't really know what that means. You wouldn't believe it if you weren't involved in it.
I've heard the horror stories from business owners like yourself, but I'm so glad that I don't have to experience it firsthand. But it gets to the point, particularly where we are now, where you just wonder why and how. Obviously, it seems that there's no politician that could ever be elected that would ever be able to scrape through some of this bureaucracy. But you also just wonder why it exists when it so just hurts the city.
Well, I know why.
Just hurts,
I know why. Well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, please, I don't know. Answer.
I know why. It's like looking through. You've signed contracts, and you know there's like tons of language there. This is like an archaeological dig of everything that ever went wrong in any contract going back 100 years. So something weird happens. Oh, well, now you got to include a clause for that. Every regulation came from something that happened that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But instead of saying, oh, you know, shit happens, well, we need a rule about that. We need a rule about that. And it piles up. And now and then the cure becomes worse than the disease. But everything there, you could create some kind of scenario. Oh, yeah, that they shouldn't allow that. You need that rule. So it all does make sense in a certain way. But the sum total of it is oppressive and doesn't work. And this is the trade-offs. And you're right. So politicians are not good at making these trade-offs because they don't care.
Right.
I'm just still convinced that everyone pays off everyone else.
No.
No? Like someone to look this inspector, look the other way. This fire chief, look the other way.
I wish.
Well,
that's what I would try to do.
I still maintain that the dollar pizzas are all money laundering fronts. There is no way that they are selling that many pizzas to maintain that kind of rent. There's one right across the street that just opened. Maybe the older ones that got grandfathered in. Maybe the guy owns a building, who knows. But the rest of them, they're all mob connected. And I'm not just saying that because it's pizza and they're Italian, but that's part of it.
This is a good theory because one of the things that's changed drastically in this type of business over the years is that there is no cash anymore. Like as my task as a business owner for years was, how do I make sure nobody's stealing? Now stealing really isn't even the money. Like, I don't even see money anymore. It used to be, I didn't even get the pleasure of it. It used to be like, you'd see all the money. Oh, I made all that money.
Yeah.
Now it just appears in my bank account. And if I actually don't look at my bank account, which I don't even know how much money I'm making or not making.
It's a problem for me, yeah.
So how do you get cash into a business? Well, nobody's going to start charging dollar pizza or two. So you're right. So you take a very low priced item, and that's probably the only business that can get any cash, because you need cash if you're an organized crime.
Yes. Oh my
You
God.
can't
yeah.
use the banking system. You need cash.
Yeah.
So you might. I mean, you might actually be right about that.
I have a lot of time on my hands as I walk to work, and I pass $1 pizza place after another. That after a while, it all became very beautiful-minded.
This is brilliant.
But I'm wondering, just from off the top of your head, who are some of the hot guys out there? Who's the next Andrew Schultz? Can't believe I plugged him. I hear Shane Gillis all the time. I'm embarrassed to say I've never actually seen him, but I'm told he's amazing. Even Nate Bartgate's. My friend in Pittsburgh this weekend had just seen him, and I have not seen him. But like, who's popping up in your head is just someone who's killing it these days?
Yeah. Well, Shane Gillis is. I'd say he's already.
Oh, totally. I'm way out of
big
it.
as Angelo, and he's fantastic.
And people go to him for advice. Newcomers that are up. See, I'm way behind on everything.
Well, he's both these guys are interesting because they both had this self-assurance to say, fuck it, I don't, especially Shane, who got fired from SNL.
Yeah.
Yes, before he even started.
Yeah, and not only that, like, when I first met him, I sort of criticized him, and I've been ashamed of myself ever since, because I'm like, why didn't you just apologize? He gave like a spiteful apology. It wasn't really an apology, you know?
Right.
And I didn't realize that at the time that he was right about himself. He knew he had it, and he wasn't daunted. And this guy has scratched out. And these guys have it better than anybody in show business has ever had it, because they don't have any boss. They don't have any studio. They don't have any gatekeepers. It's fucking amazing. They release directly to their audience. Yeah, Netflix might give them, but they don't need it.
Yes, it's unbelievable. I remember Andrew telling us that, he was offered a couple of sitcoms, and he's like, why would I do that when I've got to answer to ABC? I'm going to have much less eyes. Yeah, the money's good, but he just...
Well,
gave
they
a big
have
fuck to
such a following, such a fan base, that when Andrew has tickets on sale, I mean, he sells out so quickly. It's incredible.
It's amazing.
It's a whole new world.
It's a whole new world.
And I love the just absolute skewering of the middleman. It's the exact opposite of trying to turn a new property from a McDonald's into a
You
comedy.
know what else is hard is on the other side, people who don't make it now, it's harder for them to come up with reasons that it wasn't their fault. Like, oh, this guy had a grudge against me, I get hired,
Yeah.
like there is this real meritocracy out there where you release enough shit directly to the public, and if it doesn't catch on, like, what are you going to say? It didn't catch on, bro. It's like,
You could make the excuse there's just so much content out there that it got lost within the whole spin of it all. But, I guess the cream always does rise to the
yes.
top.
Well, it didn't always.
Well, now it does.
Now, I mean, nothing's 100%, but now it does much more than it ever did before.
Well, and especially if you hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get your shit out there. You can't expect one good thing to make it. You have to do the work.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. And I'm trying to think of but see, and again, he's been established, but have there been any other more newcomers that have caught your eye that you've been seeing recently?
This comic Jay Jordan is really funny. Ethan Simmons Patterson is really funny. There's always new guys coming up.
Well, and for those that have never been, one of my favorites is always when you go to the Cellar and just an A-lister superstar comes there unannounced and works on some things, and you're sort of their their lab rats with all of this new material. Like, I remember seeing Sarah Silverman come up, and I see all these note cards, and it's all these things that she's sort of working through. Ray Romano did it one of the last times I was there, and it's a thrill for the audience, but also it's really cool to see. In this case, it is fun to see how the sausage is made. In our former profession, less so.
Do you guys hang out after the shows or speak all day, or do you guys is it just like total professional friendliness and then like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon?
Absolute apathy from her end, which, as she's taught me, is worse than love or hate, and more offensive. But I'm
needy.
Huh?
And you're needy.
I'm a little needy with her, and I hate most people. That's the thing that's always so soul-crushing. She loathes people. I'm like, I feel like we have that common bond. But again, she finds
Except
it very
I
annoying.
loathe him, so that's what is difficult.
Yeah. The cliche always seems to be with comedians, either they're in AA or they're about to be. And there's no middle ground, and I'm sure, of course there is. Seinfeld, I suppose, being one of them. Although I don't think he drinks, period. I believe he's a teetotaler. They certainly never drink at Seinfeld.
No, he likes to drive so much that
I was going to
probably
say
not.
he's hopped up on the coffee, but I'm assuming that you see this. Is there there's obviously the famous table at the Cellar. Are there certain pockets where the sober comics will hang out just with the sober comics and
yeah,
the drunks
interesting.
will hang
No,
out,
they
or
don't.
they kind of coexist?
They coexist. You know, the table at the Cellar, I hate to say, is not quite what it used to be. There's so many more comics, and the culture has changed, and the culture of like just getting together and just tearing each other apart for laughs. That's not quite what it used to be, and even I would say, although I might get in trouble with this, the comics aren't even as funny on their feet as they were in those days, like with Bill Burr and Colin Quinn and Norton and those guys. Voss, they haven't been really replaced by people who have that talent like they did.
Interesting.
But so it's all over the olive tree now. Yeah, I always feel guilty drinking around sober comics, but that they made their peace with it. I mean,
Apparently,
they have to get used to that.
No, I'm the same way. I know you're rolling your eyes at that, but I am. You know, it's easy for me to
You
feel
feel
guilt.
bad drinking around sober people?
Yes, of course.
Then why do you invite them to the bar?
I feel they come. I don't invite.
Have you ever had to like cut someone off?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
God, are you kidding me?
all the time.
No, but like a higher profile person? Are you like maybe you should like give it a rest, or what do you do?
One high profile person has been cut off many times. I don't want to say it live. If you just mute all the microphones, I'll tell you.
Off camera.
We'll tell Africa.
Oh, well, that's not really surprising.
No, it's not, right?
No. Yeah.
Well, now after looking at her expression, I want to know. Oh, this is.
I know something you don't know. I know something you don't know.
If there was a bingo, everyone would get it. Yeah. I won't say it. That makes
Thrown out, cut off.
Oh God!
Wow.
You never know exactly where this person who won't be named is in their journey at the moment, but usually it's kind of they need to be told by other people. That's great.